The reason I experienced math trauma is because I was like in a public school and I graduated with a degree in history. I started working a magazine, a lifestyle, a very, very high level, made a movie about it, lifestyle magazine company. And I felt like I needed more. I felt like there was more.
Welcome to another episode of Inspiroqa podcast. In today's episode, we're gonna be talking about math and traumas. Our guest is a math educator who helps students and teachers see math in a whole new way. She's on a mission to heal math trauma and bring emotion and empathy into the classroom without losing the depth of learning. With a PhD in education and passion for helping people grow, her work is changing how we teach and how we feel about math. Let's dive into this interview with Dr. Geillan Aly. Dr. Geillan Aly, thank you so much for having you here in this beautiful interview. As I can see, you have like 9 a.m. USA, which is 12 hours difference between us. Thank you so much, technology, uh, for letting this happen. How is your day going so far? How are you today?
Oh, it's great, Carol. I just started my day, so I feel great. I slept well. I'm rested. I took my little boy to the bus stop and said goodbye, got my hugs, and I'm ready to start my day.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So let's dive into this our conversation. We met, let's say online met, thanks to quoty.com, which is by the way really good website for making new connections, especially if you want to do some kind of podcast or maybe possible cooperations. And I just write down that I've written down that I would like to meet some people that I would like to have them as a guest to my podcast. And when I saw your message, I was like, oh wow, she's a math teacher, like helping people how to understand more math, how to heal those traumas. I was like, I look at myself when I was child. I'm still a child, let's say it this way. But when I was like it starts from 6 years until 18 years old, every
Mhm.
year at school we have a math subjects. And I
Mhm.
remember myself, I was so damn afraid when I had to study for some test or when
Mhm.
teacher called me like, hey, Carol, come here and you're going to solve this case. I was literally like this. So could you please introduce yourself a little bit, like what do you do, what's your story in the background? Because what I understand, before you were a math teacher in
A math
school, I don't know
professor,
if
a
math
professor.
professor, thank you so
Yeah,
much. I don't
university
know, I
professor.
couldn't find information if it was like high school or university, but
Mhm.
what I saw on your website, on your social medias, you changed the way you decided not to follow the system, the school system, but you decided to work on your own. So could you please tell us more about your path?
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Geillan Ali. I am a former math professor. And now like you said, Carol, I left academia to start my own company called Compassionate Math. So with
Mm-hmm.
Compassionate Math, I support teachers. I support university faculty. I help them with professional development and problem solving. And I work with students to help them heal and work through their math traumas. So my goal is to eliminate those feelings that you had, Carol, when you were a child for
Mm-hmm.
our children and beyond.
Oh wow, this is so special. I wish all of those teachers all over the world, like right now,
Mhm.
maybe they change because the war is changing. Like we have access to information that we haven't had access. I don't know how about USA, but in us
Mhm.
in Europe, we didn't have access about like what is motivation, how to have a special approach to the children. Because like when there was a class of 20 children, right, and there was a math teacher, she didn't care. She just
Mhm.
was like teaching us something, and then we had to pass the test. If you didn't pass test, you got like in USA you have A to F. We used to have like 1 to 5. One is the best, five is the worst mark. If you got like number 4 or 5, everybody was like, ah, you got four, you got five, I got
Mhm.
one, hell yeah. And then you came home and your parents almost like slept like, how come you were studying so much? Like it's just math. But what I realized there are two major subjects. What I see,
Mhm.
students those days and also these days have a problem, which is like languages and maps.
Yeah.
Why is it so like we have these kind of traumas? We really cannot understand like the simple maths, like for example, just a crazy example, like how much is like 1 plus 5, which is basically
Hmm.
6.
Hmm. Hmm. So, so there's a lot of reasons why students have such a hard time with math. I
Mm-hmm.
think you touched on a lot of it, which is math was usually taught like I do, the teacher does, and then you're supposed to follow and imitate what I do. And from that, you're supposed to develop this deeper understanding of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, and students don't often have the opportunity to wrestle with problems, to ask questions, to build their own knowledge base. They're just supposed to receive and from there miraculously process and be able to think
Yeah.
like a mathematician. And that's just not the way that we learn as humans. And so, yes, there's been a lot of development in educational research in the past 30, 40, maybe even 50 years, talking about the best way to teach students
Mm-hmm.
uh, and the best way to help students. So that's why now we're in a space of working with students in a more active way so that students are kind of developing their own knowledge base themselves and
Yep.
being able to ask questions. So that's one thing that I do is I help modernize math teaching so that
Mm-hmm.
teachers are not just standing there going, okay, now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract and I need a common denominator and I'm going to do this. But we're going to make meaning. We're going to say, why do we need a common denominator? What is the point behind having
I
a
see.
common
Mm-hmm.
denominator? How do we find a common denominator? And this is if you play with your work, play with the math, then you're going to come to a deeper, richer understanding. Uh, so that's one challenge is antiquated teaching methods. A lot of the emotional issues that we have really stems from the fact that math curricula has changed significantly over the decades. So after World War II, I call this the cycle of benign neglect.
Oh.
When after World War II, the US military, or during World War II, the US military realized that because most of the soldiers did not have a good math background and good quantitative reasoning skills, there was
Mm-hmm.
a huge challenge for the military. And I mean, simple things like that were probably simple, like I can't order enough potatoes for the ship that's going to be out at sea for 2 weeks or something like that with all the soldiers, right? Those types of things, right? Small, basic things were a challenge. Not also huge issues of how are we going to take all of the physics that we're learning about molecules and atoms and create a nuclear weapon, right? That needed mathematics. Weaponry, aviation, radar, all of these things are mathematically based.
Mm-hmm.
And so the US military and the US government realized that there was a significant need to help everybody learn mathematics, good, solid mathematics, not just arithmetic.
Yep.
And so that's how the new math curriculum in the 60s came about. It was a response to a military need
I understand.
in the US. Uh, there was a backlash with new math because teachers and parents didn't have a good education. They didn't know all of this wild, crazy algebra focused function notation, set theory, modular arithmetic, all of this stuff that was popping up. They didn't understand it. They just learned how to do enough math to work in a grocery store or in a factory.
Yes, correct.
So teachers and parents were first they accepted new math and then they rejected it. And then we went back to basics. So then we went back to a very procedurally based idea of teaching
Yeah.
math. And this jump between procedures and concepts has gone on throughout the generations. So this is why when newer modern curricula like the Common Core, which has permeated around the world,
Mm-hmm.
Common Core standards, parents say, I don't know how to teach my kid these things. Why can't, my kid comes home and I need to help them and I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what this work is. So they get very angry and get very frustrated. And then they say, I'm not a math person. I was never good at this. Go ask your teacher. Maybe the teacher had the same challenges because the teacher may not have had good enough training to understand the content. Everything is rush, rush, rush. We don't have time
Yeah.
to teach you. And so the kids are like, well, they say they're not math people. Maybe I'm not a math person. Or the teacher says, just follow the worksheets and follow the workbook. Not because they're a bad teacher, but because they're having trouble with some of the work.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're afraid to tell their supervisors that they need more training and more support in math because you're supposed to be the knowledge keeper as the teacher.
Yeah.
So it just falls and falls and cycles, and you fall into this destructive streak of hating math and feeling you're not a math person and having anxiety and
I
then when you do well, you get imposter syndrome and it just continues. And so that's what I call math trauma, our previous experiences learning math that are negative and negatively affect you in the present moment.
Thank you so much for a beautiful explanation. To be honest, I didn't think about it
That
this
was
way.
that was so
Like the
much.
math is literally connected to the Second World War. Nobody even told me about it, or maybe I wasn't listening at school. Could happen, you know. Sometimes
No, no, they don't talk about
they don't talk
this. They
about it.
don't talk about this.
That's what
No.
I'm right. So I'm happy you mentioned it. You mentioned that you also teach teachers how to be a better teacher. So my question is, those
Mhm.
teachers, they are just like math teachers, or they are like teachers in general, like for example, biology teacher, or like physicists, or what else is there, like a history teacher?
Right, right. So, elementary school teachers in the US teach all subjects,
Like
and
we
they
have the
might,
same. Yes, so now I understand. Okay.
okay. Yes, so they are generalists. So I
Mm-hmm.
do support elementary teachers. They might have a math specialist that will come into the room, but most of them are
Yeah.
just generalists. But once you're in middle school or junior high school or intermediate school, whatever those middle grades
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
and then upper secondary and high school, those teachers are usually content specialists. So in those areas, I work with math teachers. And
Mm-hmm.
then at the university level, I work with university math faculty. But sometimes some of the work that I do is relatively general, and so other faculty attend some of my workshops as well, which is really great.
So your range is really like a huge from the small kids, from the teachers like in a general school until the university teachers, professors. I remember like when I was okay in the first grade in the grammar school, I was just learning like
Hmm.
okay, this is math, this is numbers, pum 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 pum. But when I joined university first semester, they were like crazy math. I was like, well, we didn't
Hmm.
have this one on like even high school, but we're supposed to have it on
Yeah.
high school, but the teacher didn't tell us. And I was so
Oh.
shocked. So luckily we had the tests that
Mhm.
used to be rolling on the like final exam. So thank God I passed the test. Otherwise I wouldn't have, because the teacher, he had like a book with 300 pages and we literally had 6 months to make it with stuff that I never studied. I was like, but it wasn't the toughest math, right? It was just like
Right.
some, let's say, middle level. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, let's make it. I'm gonna do my best. I think my mama hired a teacher from high school. He's a really good professor. He has like a special approach like you do have to the students. And he helped me with some subjects that I couldn't understand. Thanks to him, I understand within a couple of hours just like this. Which if I didn't study, it would
Mhm.
take me like I don't know how many other semesters, you know. And you
Yeah. Yeah.
mentioned something very nice, like some people say, I'm just not a math person.
Hmm.
What would you tell to those people? Like, what would be your message for them?
Human beings are mathematical beings.
Wow.
You are a math person. We've always used, throughout the history of humankind, we have always used mathematics to
Mm-hmm.
solve our problems. And so you are a math person. Just because you didn't do well in school
Correct.
doesn't mean you're not a math person. But you can still go back and still do well in school. If you're a parent you can get to a space where you can feel comfortable working with your kids. I've worked with parents who have reached out to me because they're now afraid of helping their kids and working through their math traumas and helping them see that they actually understood the content, that it was inside of them. And but they were just so afraid of all of the negative messages and all the negative experiences that they've had, that's the world that, you just stay in. When you've had bad experiences, you just stay in those experiences. But the work that I do, so on the university level, I do this workshop called Working Through Math Trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've started expanding, to do this, to offer this one-on-one with privately.
Yeah.
So I've worked with people to help them see that they can work through these challenges. And the same woman she was a PhD, by the way, and she found me randomly. She was working in an insurance company, and she had to work with the actuaries and she had to work with the statisticians, but but she felt so intimidated and um put down because of not feeling like a math person,
Yeah.
that she didn't feel like she could do good work and support her role
Mm-hmm.
because she was so intimidated by being the not math person in the room. But, understanding and working through her math trauma and helping her see that she's actually a math person, that she can do this, that she is perfectly capable and just as intelligent as the people that she's in the room with, it blew her mind, and it helped completely reshape the way she approached things at work, the way she worked with her students. And so now I'm trying to do this work more and more because I think that there's just so much healing that needs to happen around this area.
Oh, it is. I can see that those traumas are not just like you finish school and that's all. None of those traumas, like
That's
you
right.
said with this example, it's coming to life. The good news is we have people who are, let's say, trauma healers or coaches. That's how we call this kind of people these days. And it's
Mhm.
really nice because our parents, they didn't have this choice, but these days we have.
Right.
Like if you have a children and your children has a problem with math or languages, and you don't know how to help him from your side, just hire somebody,
Mhm.
teacher, coach, whoever it is, and find the problem, look for the solution. These days, it's much easier, I can say. I'm not that old, okay? I'm 34 right now, but I have some experience from these kind of spheres. So
Mhm.
my other question is like, you left the
Mhm.
stable jobs as a teacher, right? You probably love teaching. You probably love going to school every day, having those beautiful kids. What was your biggest motivation? Was it like calling from your heart, or maybe from God, the universe, or like deep inner voice that you had to follow?
No, no, this was not a calling that I answered. As a university professor, I was getting ready to apply for tenure. So tenure is job for life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as a university professor, you come in and you teach and you do research and you
Yep.
publish. And then when you do well enough, you get tenure. And that is the gold standard. And I was getting ready to apply for tenure at my institution, and I couldn't do it. I was sick. Every time I opened my document, I would, okay, so now I'm actually, my body is feeling it again, thinking about it. But I was not, I was in an institution where I felt that people of color were not valued.
Mm-hmm.
And there were several incidents that had caused me to feel that my work was not valued as other people's,
I see.
uh, and with different contributions in different spaces. So I had taken time and was really, and this was during the pandemic, so
Yeah.
everybody was kind of questioning everything. Uh, and and one day I went for a drive, um and I had resigned. I resigned. I couldn't do it anymore. I could not apply. I kept thinking, how is it that I'm applying for a job? because that's what tenure is essentially, right? Is reapplying for a promotion. How is it that I'm applying for a job and I can't do this work because of how I feel like I'm fully devalued?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't I just couldn't manage. And then I realized I went for a drive one day when I resigned. I was thinking, oh my God, did I make a mistake? Is
Yep.
this the wrong thing? And as I was driving, I kept thinking, what is tenure going to get you? What will tenure do? Well, right now, because of COVID and because of finances, a job for life, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
The university may close. Okay. Um, Teaching, yes, I fulfillment, but not necessarily. And I went through the list of everything that tenure was supposed to get me and help me with. All the things that you're told when you're going to school and graduate school. And the only thing that I was going to get if I got tenure, Carol, was spite.
Hmm.
Because I've experienced math trauma. I've experienced people tell me I'm not intelligent enough for a PhD.
Ay, ay.
I've experienced people undermining the work that I did. I've experienced not understanding something and when being asked questions, being told that I'm not worthy of answers. And all I had wanted was to get tenure in a math department so I can prove to these people that I'm worth it. And I told myself, if spite is the only thing that's having me hold on, then this is not something for me.
Mm-hmm.
So and I will say that many colleagues have said, "Hey, we're hiring. Hey, we're going to start a search. Maybe you want to." And my response to them has always been, "Okay, I like sounds cool. Great. If I apply, are my experiences going to be different at your institution than they were at my other institution?"
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell them in graphic detail what the experiences are, they get very quiet and they say, "Oh, but maybe I don't think so." So I didn't know what to do with myself. Um, and I sat uh, and I was meditating and I was thinking and I had been writing all
Mm-hmm.
about all the work that I'm doing and everything. And honestly, like I felt this warm wash
Mm-hmm.
and the words compassionate math
Wow.
just, and I didn't know what that meant, but I felt it and I sat up and I opened my computer, which is always like right here, right? Your
Yeah,
computer's
yeah.
right next to you all the time. And I opened my computer and I went to Gmail and I signed up for a new account, compassionatemath@gmail.com. And then I went to a web hoster
Mm-hmm.
and I just compassionatemath.com and I just bought the domain and I had no idea what to do. And I started and I was like, oh, I'm going to do consulting. I'm going to do DEI work. Right? I wasn't totally sure what to do. And a colleague of mine said, Geillan, why don't you go right now? Now this is fall of 21. Teachers are back in the classroom for the first time. Everybody's burnt out. Everything's having a hard time. Why don't you go support teachers?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, I'm not going to. She was like, K-12 teachers, kindergarten to 12, go support teachers. And I said, no, I'm not going to go support teachers. I don't have anything to say. I don't know what to do. Um, I don't do professional development. That's not the work I've been, and teachers get, can I curse?
Oh, for
Is
sure.
this,
It's up to you.
okay. I wasn't sure if you had a rating, but teachers get shit on all the time.
Yes.
And teachers have to carry the burden all the time. And so it is, and teachers are very defensive about their work because they get shit on all the time. They have every right to like always be in a space of like defense of because they're attacked so much. And I,
Scared as well, like whatever they do to the kids, you know?
yeah, but also like it's the teacher's fault that the teacher has to do right? The teacher doesn't know
Yes.
enough. The teacher doesn't do, and so for me as a university professor to come in and tell teachers what to do, is wrong. Like I didn't think that that was a good idea. And teachers
Hmm.
don't want professional development from somebody like that. They don't want because I don't have their experience in the classroom. I'm not
Hmm. I
teaching
see.
150 kids for 40 minutes every day and I can't do, right? I have a student that badmouths me as a professor, get out of my classroom. I can write and do and teach whatever I want. I don't have somebody coming in and writing reports saying you held the marker the wrong way or you didn't have groups quickly enough, right? Teachers do not have the autonomy that they should as a professional. Nobody
Hmm.
talks to a doctor this way. Nobody talks to a lawyer this way, but everybody feels like it's okay to talk to a teacher this way. So I did not want to go in and talk to teachers this way. But she insisted, she said you should go in. I got into a school and I went in and I was extremely nervous and but I went in as a researcher because that's
Yes.
who I am. I am a researcher, an education researcher. And I just went in and I started asking the teachers questions. Why are you doing this?
Mhm.
Why aren't you doing this? What about this? Have you thought about this? I wonder about this. And the conversations that came out were so rich
Oh, wow.
and so interesting and so powerful that I came home that day and my husband said, "How was your day?" And I said, "I found my new life's calling."
That's how it works. Literally, that's how it
That's
works.
that's
You
how it
see, like,
works.
if I can talk right now, because I have so many
Yeah.
ideas because of your
I'm so
beautiful
sorry
story.
I
No,
talked for
that's
too
beautiful.
long.
I'm really happy. I was just waiting for the story, like, how it's gonna be finalized. It's gonna be like she took this job, or she said, like, no, get the heck out of you. Don't you ever offer him this because I know what you do. And I was like, she must have said yes. She must have said, I fucking enjoy this job. I love it. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm happy that
Yeah.
you basically
Yeah.
find your passion, like you're saying on your
I
website,
found my
and this is
passion.
your passion.
Yeah.
And the way you told them, like, why don't you do this way? Why do this way? This is basically coaching. I had some sessions with my coaches, like for mindset, not like for the math, but for the coach,
Hmm.
for the mindset. And
Yeah.
they always ask questions like, where do you see yourself? Or like, why don't you do this?
Right.
What if? So this
Yeah.
really works. And people who have some problems in certain areas, whether it's like at school with studying or at work or whatever with mindset, just be open
Mhm.
and tell your ego just little, be silent, no worries, it's gonna help us. There is gonna be
Mhm.
enough time for you to like be ego in
Right.
some way. And what I love, then you experience also math trauma, like you said.
I did.
So
I did.
usually people teach something, let's say some kind of like business coaches will become like business mentors, what's really successful. They teach
Mhm.
like their successes because they're, for example, homeless like long time ago, and suddenly they are billionaires. So they've been down, they understand, and they can guide you, they can help you. And you
Mhm.
experience like a math trauma. People were like laughing at you. They gave you like, "Are you sure you can teach these people? Are you sure you have enough knowledge or whatever?" But they said like, you just did it. You just listen. Maybe some small little inner voice inside will tell you like, just try this teaching those teachers. Don't care. And then you see, now you teach. I'm so proud of it. It's so beautiful to hear this story. And
Yeah.
I also believe that our listeners are going to love these stories. Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. It was so powerful. And even more powerful was the next time I went back,
Hmm.
it was a month later. I walked in, Carol, Carol, I can't tell you. I walked in and I was so scared because now I'm back,
Oh, yeah.
right? And I walked in a room and they said, "Yay, it's PD day." Yay, we're so happy you're back. I can't wait to tell you all the things that you helped me think about and redo. And we spent the time talking about the changes that they made from that conversation, that opening conversation we had. It was amazing. And they were so excited. And we had such a wonderful conversation. That relationship with that school district went for 2 years, and it was 2, 3 years, I don't know. And it was so powerful to be able to do this work. And yeah, it was. I one of the big challenges in mathematics is that university math is taught by people who are the very, 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 very top of their field.
Mm-hmm.
They've never had a problem with math. And they were like, I learned it. Why can't you? Now,
Oh
there's
yeah.
a huge equity problem here. The reason I experienced math trauma is because I was like in a public school and I went and I graduated with a degree in history. I started working at a magazine, a lifestyle, a very, very high level,
Mm-hmm.
made a movie about it, lifestyle magazine company. And I I couldn't I felt like I needed more. I felt like there was more. And I went back to school and I started studying mathematics. So I did not have a traditional route. I did not come from a preparatory school. I
Mm-hmm.
did not come from a high. I was not doing like major math competitions, but I loved mathematics and I did well in school. And I wanted to go and I wanted to learn. Honestly, I wanted to learn the secrets of the universe
Wow.
because mathematics is the closest that humans can talk to God, I
Yeah.
believe. Because the more mathematics you uncover, the more you learn the secrets of the universe, and that's how you get closer to God.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do. But there were things about mathematics that I didn't understand that nobody had ever taught me. And so I walked in, and I think, and likely it's because I went to a high school in a space that doesn't feed on this level.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of that information I never received. That's a major equity gap. The education, the quality of education that students receive is so different depending on where they expect you to go and what they expect you to do, that this isn't worth it. You're not worth teaching this material
Oh
to.
yeah.
So I went in with a major deficits, but that doesn't mean deficits in my knowledge base, not in my abilities. But everybody focused on those things in a way that I never was able to not succeed, but I was never able to feel that I had to respect or be respected.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're getting more and more, and you get a master's program, a PhD program, professional programs, those feelings really affect you because you apply for a fellowship and people say, well, she's not worth the money.
Oh yeah.
Or you apply for something and they say, don't bother, you're not going to be here next year. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but I was still there next year.
So these days, you still study by yourself some new math because math, what I see, it's always evolving. It's not
Of
math.
course,
Math
of
is not the
course.
same as it was, let's say, 6 decades ago, right? It was about
Yeah.
numbers. Right now, I cannot say these names in English because I never studied them, like those numbers and
It,
crazy. Just open Google and go
mhm.
like math examples and you will see, or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But like, do you still study something new? So like, because what I see also in high school or university, I don't think they still teach the same those students. Like for example, if there is a math program, like somebody wants to study science for 5 years, they're
Mhm.
gonna give you math. This next 5 years of math is gonna be the same as 5 years before, you know? I don't think it's gonna be the same because if math evolves, they have to do
Mhm.
some new examples or new approaches, right? So also you have to
Yes.
study. So my question is like, do you study some special books? Do you follow some special math professors that are already still alive or like centuries ago? Like there was, okay,
Hmm.
Nikola Tesla wasn't math professor, but which one was the most famous? Oh my God, I forgot those names, but you probably know what I'm talking about.
John Nash, maybe in economics,
Could
or
be.
Nikola Tesla. Is that who you're thinking of?
Yeah, also the other guys like from Greece or from long time ago. These
Oh, like Archimedes or
yeah,
Hypatia.
they had
And
really
yeah.
nice, how to say, like explanations of some math, right?
Mhm. Hmm. So right now, what I'm really I'm just finishing a book right now,
Oh wow.
and it actually explores it explores arithmetic in a really rich way. So I'm spending a lot of time thinking about that, and that's bringing me to learn and think more about the mathematics that was done by all of us around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm spending a lot more time thinking about ancient Egyptian mathematics and Mayan
Oh,
mathematics and Hindu and Chinese and the work, because all of those cultures, uh, all of the non-European cultures, that's where European mathematics comes
yeah,
from.
yeah.
You know, the Pythagorean theorem was not invented by Pythagoras, right? But it's his name on the theorem, so it looks like it's Greek work.
Yeah.
But it's not. It is a lot, and the richness of mathematics, like the question of zero that came from the Hindus and channeled through the Arabs to Europe. These histories and the notion of fractions and irrational numbers and just all of these ideas that we wrestled with, all, by the way, to answer very practical questions in our day-to-day world
Mm-hmm.
that new mathematics was developed and evolved, but all of these societies did it. So I'm learning so much about all of the the rich depth mathematics that came from all of the peoples around the world. And that's been a space that I've been really enjoying right now.
Oh wow, I can imagine
Yeah.
like wow. That's really good that you also evolve. You want to find out, you want to be looking for the answers. And I like the way you said like with math, we are more connected to the universe because we have, let's say, these days, what I understand, two approaches for universe. One is like a spirituality, right? Like you connect to your God through meditations, to breathwork,
Mhm.
whatever coaching, but also through maths because I've seen a lot of videos or pictures like about Nikola Tesla, the numbers like 369s, the like the triangle and everything like this. I was like, what is that? So
Mhm.
I was searching more. And then I realized suddenly, like, you have a pizza in a square box, then you have triangles, then you have like number six, which is like this. And I was like, oh wow. And we have nine numbers, then you see like the word is just between zero and one. Huh? It's like from the Matrix movie, you see the code. I was like, what is that? What is zero one? Like, but math people will really understand them.
Mhm.
What was the guy that already passed away? He was like writing the books about the understanding of the black hole and the universe.
Stephen Hawking?
Yes, thank you so much. He was
Mhm.
also really deep into the math, if I'm correct,
Yeah.
right? And these
Yeah.
people, they didn't have to follow spiritually whatsoever. They were born to use more of the ratio, but they were really good people to the other people as well. And they just wanted to give us some knowledge, wanted to explain us something that my soul wasn't meant to search in this life. But thanks to his book, I could understand,
Mhm.
which your
Mhm.
book is gonna help the other people also understand. Like your research is gonna help me to save like thousands hours of studying. Like, okay, this is the math coming from Hindu, this is the math from Arabian. Oh my God, I don't understand how to start. But with your book, and I'm so excited. When it's gonna be done? When do you plan to have it done?
So I'm hoping it'll be published before the end of this year. It's not a book, it's not an international history book. There are some really great books that talk about that. But the book is called Compassionate Math.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the first half is compassion to help you understand the socio-emotional factors that contribute to math success.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps you understand and see them so you could work through your own personal math traumas.
Uh-huh.
And then the second book is going to be an in-depth understanding of arithmetic, the basics, the very foundation of mathematics. So, and the reason I'm going to spend my time on arithmetic is because I think that if people have a strong foundation, then they can feel more comfortable. The
Yeah.
mom can feel more comfortable supporting her kids. The teacher can feel more comfortable like teaching
Oh yeah.
a lesson, or the manager can feel more comfortable developing their like doing their reports, their P&L reports,
Yeah.
for example. The college student can know that they have such a strong foundation because algebra is, I consider it abstract arithmetic. Everything in mathematics comes down to some level of arithmetic. Even in graduate school, you learn about a new, very interesting object. And the first things you have to ask is, can we add, can we subtract, can we multiply, can we divide? What does
Mm-hmm.
that mean in this space? What does it signify? So understanding the very foundations is critical for all of us to work through our math traumas. And so that's the focus. Now, going international has helped me because when I as you write, as I've been writing, I've been sitting here going, wait, where did I know zero was an invention? It was an addition into
Mm-hmm.
our world. Where did zero come from?
Oh yeah.
You know? And I learned about how the Pythagoreans were a cult like it was almost like a religious cult. They were so focused on the ideas and the works and the mathematics that came out of this school of thought that when an argument was presented that the square root of two is not a fraction, it's an irrational number, it is not a rational number. There was a riot and there was a murder that was committed. Like it was like it's crazy when you start asking these questions and looking into the depths of mathematics. Um, you start to see all these really interesting stories. So these are the little holes that I've been going down because I'm hoping that my book will really help heal math trauma for more people, and help them understand that they are math people.
I don't think I ever seen any book literally helping math traumas, either like people in my age or teachers or
Mhm.
parents or even students. So this
Mhm.
book, and if you continue, I don't think it's gonna be just one book. I know when you start writing book, it's never one book.
Yeah,
There will
yeah.
be more books because there is
Yeah, I have a
bunch of stuff.
plan. I have
You see?
a
So I can say this kind of book can be like a game changer, or let's say a guide to those
Mhm.
people, and it can help them to like, okay, just math is no
Yeah.
problem. If somebody told me you cannot say like how much is five plus five or 10 minus 4, doesn't mean I don't understand math. Like we said at the beginning, doesn't mean I have to have like a problems with math, or I should hate a math, or I should have
Mhm.
numbers. Like I remember having my first job, uh, even though I studied on Excel, because Excel, like the from the Microsoft, the packages
Oh
are
yeah, yeah. Excel.
Excel. Yeah,
Yes.
it's all about the
Hmm.
numbers and statistics and so on.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
So we
Yeah.
also use it in manager positions or as a like in the corporate
Right.
companies. So it's all
Right.
connected.
So yeah, it all just keeps following
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It all keeps following you. So my hope is to heal this. So there are books on, say, math anxiety, the fear of doing math. There are books about mindsets and how you think about math. There are books about how to study math. But I've never seen a book that actually is not like a textbook, but like a companion, like a book you can read with the work that you're doing
Hmm.
that was math and the compassion part. So no book has both of those sides. There's one that's only compassion or books that are only math,
Oh yeah.
but nothing has ever put the two together.
That's
So
always the worst, and you don't want to read those two books at the same time. You will be like more
yeah,
confused than the time you started to read this book. And I also realized,
absolutely.
like, my question, I have other question about which I wrote down here. How can
Hmm.
teacher recognize any kind of traumas in a student? Because back in the
Hmm.
time when I was a student and I didn't understand like some subject, yes, the teacher came to me, but she had a limited time. I never had a
Hmm.
one-on-one session. I don't know either it was because we didn't know that my parents could actually pay for a teacher to come to my
Hmm.
place and teach me. Either it was history, so I could understand or explain me, or a math and languages. That time was the biggest challenges for people in my age. But what I wanted to say, just like, do those teachers see when there's, for example, a classroom of 20 student, let's talk about kindergarten or maximum until
Hmm.
the age of 12, when there is a
Hmm.
trauma, do they even care? Do they even see that, oh, there is a Casey, she has some kind of misunderstanding about the history or about the math. Oh, how am I supposed to help her? I wasn't paying for that, this kind of approach.
That that depends on the teacher, you
Hmm.
know? I mean, if you have a rich community in your classroom,
Oh yeah.
then you will know your students. And there are sometimes when I've taught, when I knew every single student and I knew everything about them and I knew their math traumas and I knew how to help them and I knew how to support them. There were other times where, I wasn't always perfect as a professor
Yeah.
and not maybe I didn't know who my students were. Maybe I didn't realize how important it
Oh
was to
yeah.
make those
That's
connections.
the thing.
Maybe especially at the times when my math trauma was so bad that I didn't have the energy to give out, that I wasn't doing well. Those were the times when I was the worst teacher
Hmm.
and the worst professor. And so, if I wasn't making those connections, I couldn't help. But right now, I'm working with a little girl who's just finishing sixth grade. Her parents recognize how important it is for her to be ready for algebra. She's not ready for algebra, but her parents are putting her in algebra, and I'm working with her this summer to get her ready
Oh yeah.
to finish, to work through. But here's the funny thing. Talking to her, I can tell she has some really good quantitative sense. She has good math
Wow.
sense because human beings are mathematical beings and she has these capabilities. But she was given so many messages about, don't worry about it. That's too hard for you, from her friends who would say, don't, when she would ask questions of her friends in class, they'd say, oh, don't worry, just copy. Don't worry.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so nobody was ever listening to her to ask her the deep questions to help her see what she understood and what she didn't. No one was giving her the space and the patience to do it. Once her parents realized that there was a problem, and they looked to find help, they reached out to me because they understood that it wasn't just doing more work and harder work. It's not sitting and study, 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 that there was a bigger issue going to her. So they reached out to me to help her through her math trauma. So believe it or not, I'm working with an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old.
Wow.
Well, she makes a point. She's gonna be 12 in July. Right? So I'm working with an 11, 12-year-old who has experienced math trauma,
Hmm.
but hopefully we'll be able to support her and so she can actually move forward and not have to compromise her dreams, not get to college and say, I want to be a veterinarian, but I don't want to do the math. I want to be an engineer, but I don't want to do the math. I want to go into criminal justice, but I don't want to do the math for the statistics. And then so I'll just go into political science or I'll just go into English or whatever, which is, I mean, not to besmirch political science or English or whatever, but people compromise on their dreams because the math holds them back
Oh
and the
yeah.
fear of the math holds them back. And that's what I don't want to happen.
Yeah, fear of the math. Yeah, I remember that. I remember not just because of the math, but a day before the exam was happen, either it was math or any kind of other subject, I was just like praying, like, please God, help me. Tomorrow is like really hard, really tough test. I need your guidance. And thank God, after all, I got the nice mark. It wasn't always A, sometimes B or C, but I passed
Yeah.
the exam, so I could continue. And then I was just like relieved. That was the best.
Mm.
So talking about these 11, 12, she's gonna be 12 in July. This girl,
Mhm.
what are the other cases or any other students? How do they feel, or what is the transformation? What kind of transformation you see with those students or teachers after working with you? If you can give us some example, like this is the before, this was the problem, the task. It took us that much time, and we find out the
Mhm.
solution. We hit the goal that we gave us at the beginning of our teaching.
So the woman that I was telling you about before,
Mm-hmm.
who needed to work with the statisticians and was afraid to work with her um, kids to help them with her homework, even though she wanted to. Um, we were meeting remotely. It was at our fifth meeting. She said, I don't know why I'm paying you. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're a waste of money. And I said, great. She said, I'm doing like, I go to work now and I talk to these people and I'm sitting with my kids and I'm doing all of this work and I'm thinking, why am I paying this person? And I said, I'm so happy I'm being fired. I was so happy. It was 5 sessions of working with her, where by the fifth, she almost felt like I was just like that there was no need to pay
Hmm.
me anymore, right? And but we started off by having really interesting, deep conversations about, but it wasn't even hard. It was like fractions, orders of operations, basic algebra. And she would sit there and go, "Oh, I know how to solve this." But she never had that opportunity to feel that she could solve
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Does that make sense? To the point where in 5 lessons, she thought that this work was a waste of time, that she was fine. And I was like, that's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that because that shows you how quickly this work, how quickly just working through your past experiences can help set you up. Now, she didn't need to pass an exam and continue with her studies. She just needed for herself. She said it was her midlife crisis to heal that math person. Like that, those were her words. My midlife crisis, which I thought was very funny because I was thinking I was going through a mid, I was at the same time, we're about the same age, so I knew exactly what she meant. That you get to this point where you go, here's this thing, and I'm going to take control and I'm going to work through it. And the second it happened, she was like, it's as if that it was nothing and she was ready to move on.
Hmm.
So, so that's what happened with that woman. It was a very, very fast transformation. The I've worked with teachers where it took about a year of coaching before, or no, actually, the teacher that I'm thinking of, it took him about 10 or 12 meetings before he realized the need to shift his teaching practice
Yeah.
and to support his students. So sometimes it's very, very slow work, very tedious. That was very hard working with somebody who didn't want to work with me, who felt like everything was fine, and who felt like I was just there to waste his time before he realized that he had so many, he had so much pain in his teaching experiences and so much like pain in his personal life that he was like bringing it into the classroom.
Hmm.
And it was affecting how he
Everything.
was approaching students and how and everything else. But he's amazing. The transformation that I saw in his classroom, it and again, when it clicked, done. The shifts that I saw when I went in that day, I was like, I don't know what room I'm in because of what I'm seeing. He was radically different
Hmm.
when everything clicked for him. So it was, and his students were way happier. It was a much more
For sure.
interesting and engaging class, which was fantastic. So it's very interesting. The work can, especially when I'm doing one-on-one. So I also do group workshops at the university level.
Hmm.
At the end of the workshop, I had a student come up to me and said that you've just changed my life.
Wow.
And and they were ready to call, to throw in the towel, and they were done, and they were like, no, you've now I see what I can do. I see the road that I went down because I talk about equity, I talk about school funding, I talk about the quality of the education that you received and how none of that has anything to do with you and how much you can think and how well and what your potential is. Those were just your circumstances.
Hmm.
And when students and people understand that and they put all these pieces into perspective, like the change has, for so far, the change has been when it happens. Sometimes it takes a while, but when it happens, it's fast and it's hard and it's really powerful.
That's the words you want to hear from your clients And I said, like, you did your the best. I really
Yeah.
love how you taught me, how you changed my life. That's literally, it warms the heart, you know? So,
Yeah.
because you have so many years of experience with working for a school system, outside of the
Hmm.
school system, do you think that, in generally speaking, there should be some changes within the educational system? Like, what I see,
Hmm.
school didn't prepare me as a man when I finished high school for the real life. I really, after this one, what I was studying, if it was just like general subjects or even at university, I finished, I got my degree, I was literally lost. I had to study everything with my own intention. I had to like
Hmm.
found myself like, who is Carol?
Same.
What you wanna be? Like nobody at school asked me like,
Same.
what is your the
Hmm.
best, like who you want to be? No, nobody ever asked these questions.
Right. Yeah, you graduate and you're just like,
See
bye.
ya,
And you go,
ciao.
I don't, yeah, yeah. Again, I finished with a history degree. My first degree was history. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what do you do with that? Oh, you go get a job. I don't know what that means. How do you
See.
get a job? How do you, right? Um, so this is an interesting question because the question is, why do we need education?
Mm-hmm.
And what is education supposed to do?
Really good questions.
Okay. So, um, if education is I need more plumbers, I'm gonna teach like so we could make everything vocational, right? So like very specialized, you're gonna be on the track to be a plumber or a computer scientist, and these are the things that you need to know, and this is training. Then our entire system can be very vocational. That's fine. I mean, then you're limiting potential and motivation
Mm-hmm.
and right? And what if I don't, what if this track doesn't work for me? Can I change? So that's one type of education, right? Is that's the leaving college or leaving high school with the skills to work. Okay. Then there's education, you learn how to think.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know how to write a resume, but I thought and I figured it out. I didn't know how to, um, I didn't know how to start a business. I was an academic, but I figured it out
Uh-huh. I see where you're
because
going.
I've learned how to think.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to think. I know how to read and process information. I know how to take from here and here and here and put it together. That is what my education has given me. Okay. The problem is not enough people have been taught to think in this world of education. Because you say, you know what you need? You need a college degree so you can get a job.
Yep.
Okay. So there are like three things that a college degree gives you. It's the piece of paper, the credentials, the education, and the network.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The people that I went to college with and how I learned to communicate with people. If this is all that matters, you just need a piece of paper. That's where, so now when we talk about education and what's the need for education, generally it's about the credentials.
Mm-hmm.
It's about getting the piece of paper. It's not talking about the education, the knowledge, right? Or the learning to think. And it's rarely talking about the network. So when people say, well, Bill Gates didn't go to college and Steve Jobs didn't go to college, they had the network. They had network. They had very rich, powerful, interesting networks. They were in places where they knew people who helped them. They didn't need credential. And from the network, they got education,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was born in Cairo, Egypt, and I grew up in Queens and I went to public school. I didn't have network. I needed credential, but I got education is what's helping me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have a network.
Oh, yeah, I have the same actually. Yeah, I'm on the same page. Yeah,
They put the pieces together.
makes sense.
Everybody talks about education. They're talking about the piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
a college degree.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about all that behind that. But that's hard. Good quality education, teaching people critical thinking. Education is being destroyed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Critical thinking is being destroyed. It has been for 40, 50 years, systematically undermining education. Social media and AI is contributing to this and now making it even much
Yep.
worse, right? It's taking away not it's taking away your ability to think, and it's also taking away your right now in the United States. We're in the space of almost losing our rights to think,
Damn.
if it hasn't already. And so though that's what I'm thinking of when you say, can we train people for the future? That's great. And yes, absolutely. Let's train people for the jobs that they need to do. And let's train them to be able to graduate from any XYZ college in any city, state, country around the world and be able to go and find the job that they're interested in and would like to do. Wonderful. You can do that. But that means that they have to have a quality education. And most people who are in charge don't want that.
Yep.
And so I think of my work as subversive. I think that this work is revolutionary because I'm helping the people who were taught for a lot of reasons, you're not a math person, you're not good enough. I I wholly believe that there are reasons why education is sectioned the way that it is. And I'm taking the people that don't deserve, shouldn't, are not good enough, are not worthy, and I'm teaching them that they have more power than they think they do, and they can leverage those powers.
Yeah.
And I think reading and mathematics, but I'm not a reading professor, I'm a math professor. Reading and mathematics are the two critical ways to do this. I'm sorry, I think that was like too much.
Wow, that's really nice.
But
I really love the explanation of like you need the credentials, then there's connection. I forgot the second one, education, right?
education,
And
yeah.
it's also, like I said, it was also my favorite because to be honest, I'm 34 right now, and I found my passion, my mission in this life couple of years ago. So imagine like since
Mhm,
well, you came here as a baby. Your soul, let's say, remember, has a vision. But then you join the system, also the
mhm,
education from your parents, which they didn't know how to, like if there is any kind of coaching or meditation whatsoever. You just follow what they've been taught because of their school system before from their parents, right? Which is really nice as long as they give you love. That's the best. But then you have to go to the school. If you don't go to school, the government will take the children, they will put you somewhere. That's the
mhm,
law. You have to go to school, right? Grammar school at least
mhm.
until 15 years
Yeah.
old. If you don't want to go to
Mhm,
high school, it's your responsibility. But then because of you don't have the graduation paper from high school, there is like really slightly chance you're gonna find a job. So usually people do because of the paper. I also went to
mhm,
business economy university because I didn't know what am I supposed to do. I just wanted to extra 5 years to be honest. But when I finished my bachelor studies, I was like, oh damn, I have only 2 more years. I got to figure out what I want to do. So I fell in love with
mhm,
marketing, right? So I was
mhm,
searching by myself. Well, I want to have like marketing internship. I got it. I went to USA for a summer job, then again for a summer job next year. Then I got some jobs, and I was still finding until I really decided to go deep inside of personal development because I suddenly see like, oh,
mhm,
there is somebody like Tony Robbins. Oh, what is that? Oh, he's helping people to become like millionaires from zero for homeless people. La la la. I want to have the same. I also want to find where am I, and they don't teach this at school, maybe for a reason.
Mhm.
So there's a great example about the fish and fisherman, right? Like I'm gonna teach you how to do the
Mhm.
fishing. I don't know how is the example, but the idea is like I'm not gonna.
Teach a man to fish, he eats for a day.
Yes,
Which
this
one? And then, or excuse me, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Yes.
this example makes sense. When I heard about it, I
Mhm.
was like, I understand. And you mentioned critical thinking, by the way, which is really good. Many there are these days there are also some leaders or coaches who teaches you how to do critical thinking because you have to think about it like, okay, if I do this step, it's like playing chess. Literally, even though I don't know how to play chess, but I understand the logic behind it. And
Mhm.
when people learn more about this kind of critical thinking, their life would be much better. They
Right.
wouldn't be that much stressful. And I'm a believer that people have, all of us, we have certain purpose in this life. We have a mission. Either there are a lot of cases like there is a baby coming to this world when she starts talking, mommy, mommy, I want to be a doctor. And
Mhm.
she just follows this path and become the best doctor in the world. For this kind of stuff, yes, you need bunch of degrees because the job is so precise. You have to learn
Mhm.
how to work with the scissors, how to do the stitches, and so on. That's when you
Mhm.
need a proper education. But like I studied, which I'm so thankful. I had like business studies. I learned the best thing that I learned is like a typing with all of my fingers without even watching. That's the best. And I
Mhm.
use it on a daily basis. But then that's the funny fact. I studied business economic. I finished my studies in universities. I started business a couple of years ago and I had to start all over again. They didn't tell me the way business it works in a real life from the beginning when you want to start. Because you can
Mhm.
be freelancer, you can work on your own, then you have LTD, LLC, whatever is that, and you have to
That's
pick up.
core, right? Everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like this.
Mhm.
I was calling
Mhm.
all the time with my accountant, please help me. I have no idea what am I supposed to do. And then you
Mhm.
just learn by yourself. It's so much funny.
Yeah, it is fun when you're challenged, when you want that as a challenge.
Yes.
But if you've never, but think about how uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
all of that was. All
Oh
like the
yeah. Oh my
discomfort
Lord.
and the, right? I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, "Oh my God, I gave up a job for life. I gave up
See?
job security for life in this day and age."
Mhm.
Medical like health benefits for right in the US I have to work and buy my benefits, right? So health benefits, all of this retirement, all of this is gone
Mhm.
because I didn't feel safe in my position. Okay, so now what do I do? And I was so scared.
Oh yeah.
And and that fear is something that you have to work through. But at the same time, I knew I would be okay, not because and yes, there's a whole lot of mindset. I mean, this is why I do my math trauma work because I believe that there are mindset shifts that need to happen. But the confidence wasn't about mindset.
Mhm.
The confidence was about I have the mindset, but I have the tools to use them. I mean, I've worked with business coaches, or I've talked to a business coach, and when I was talking to her, like a lot of the work that she does was around supporting uh, entrepreneurs to meet like execute and meet their goals, et cetera. Bah, bah, bah. So, and I know her, I like her, so I got on a call with her and we sat there chatting and I said, okay, well, these are my goals. I am, writing out these emails and I'm finishing my book. I'm gonna finish the drafts. And while the book is being like re-edited and
Yep.
set up, I'm gonna work on this and I'm doing this. My timeline is based on this. It had to shift because I got this job, but I did this, etc. And she finished and she was like, and I was like, I think I'm okay with my timeline. And she said, yeah. And I realized something. I went through a PhD. I've done research papers. I have these tools,
Mhm.
right? Some people have never developed these tools. And so that's where a lot of the mindset shift work, the mindset shifting fails is because after the mindset, where are the tools? So you and I had our tools. How many times do I read on entrepreneurial forums of, I have a really great idea and I just don't know what to do?
Oh yeah.
Just do it. Just try, right? Just how many times do we see, well, I've been working on my business plan for 8 months now, but I haven't had a conversation with somebody about with my client, or I don't know who my clients are going to be, or right? Like, go do work. And I think that's where a lot of education fails.
Oh yeah.
Not because I didn't teach you how to go and find clients, and I didn't teach you how to write. I didn't teach you how to figure things out for yourself. Education systems don't teach you how to look and understand how to critically put pieces together and figure out what you need and what you don't need.
Hmm.
They don't teach you how to set independent goals and meet those goals, etc.
Yeah.
Right? And that's, I think, the big challenge in education. It's again, it goes back to that critical thinking and that deep thinking. It's not about the skills. It's about knowing how to gain those skills. And it's about and then the mindset stuff is very easy to work on because I could just convince you that you could do this.
Hmm.
And I could, if, I'm doing math trauma work, I could convince you you're good at math. But if I can't give you the skills to develop or the ability to make sure that you can actually feel comfortable doing mathematics and do mathematics with some success, then there's no point in the work that I do.
It's like I was also like that when I was just like talking too much about my plans, my future, what I wanted to do. And nobody tell me
Mhm.
okay, my parents tried to tell me like, just stop talking. If you want to do something, let's do it. But I didn't have
Mhm.
a motivation from those parents because parents, right? And
Yeah.
then I saw some stories like it's better not to talk about something like to your friends whatsoever. Just do it. Be a doer.
Just
Doesn't
do
matter
it.
if it's gonna be successful. If it's gonna fall down, always move forward, fall forward, get up, and do something. And then I realized if I have some plans and I really feel like this is the plans that I'm working on, I will be talking about it, to those people. But back in the days, people just talk about, I want to do this, I want to invest that. And you see this person talking about the same for a couple of months, even years could happen, still being on the
Mhm.
same place, just talking.
Mhm.
I was like,
Yep.
okay, thank you so much. How is your life? Still the same? Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
easy. They need maybe somebody who's gonna tell them like, I'm gonna guide you until the time you realize it's not okay to be just talking, talking, talking. I see you wanna have a better life. Let me
Mm.
guide you, let me help you. So that brings me to
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
final question, which
Okay.
is what's one piece of motivation you would love every listener to walk away with after hearing your story, this our interview today? Or what kind of message would you give to those people watching this interview? Let's say this way, it's much better.
You are a math person. You are a math person. You can do this. Mathematics should not hold you back from achieving your dreams or helping your children or being a great teacher or being a successful entrepreneur. You can do this because human beings are mathematical beings.
Thank you so much. This was such a beautiful message from Dr. Geillan Aly. Thank you so much for your time. And this is the end of our beautiful interview. Hope you liked our interview today. If you would like to see more interviews, feel free to follow Inspiroqa. Feel free to follow Dr. Geillan Aly if you have any more questions. I'm going to post as much information as I could share on the social medias. And I'm so excited for your incoming book. I hope it's going to be in PDF so I can just buy it because, I'm here in Indonesia and it's much faster to have
I'll
a.
send you one, Carol. I'll send you one.
Well, thank you so much once again for beautiful interview. Thank you so much. This was Dr. Geillan Aly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.